among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain fall.
Good morning, happy Saturday, welcome to Laurel Park. I'm Naomi Tucker, joined by Keith Fussel. Keith, how are you doing and what have you been up to thus far?
Really not a whole lot. Pretty quiet morning for the most part. Got through some races this morning, made my way down, and plenty of time, I guess. But yeah, looking for a good Saturday of racing. I know I'm out there on the chopping block today for Beat the Expert. So hopefully, somebody doesn't treat me too roughly here, one of our fans. But yeah, I'm always pulling for the fans to beat me, though.
Yeah, you better come up with something good for today, Keith.
Okay.
I'm rooting for you. Let's see how it will work out for you. I actually got the chance to watch Super Saturday from Dubai this morning, and salute the soldier Dutch jockey, one of the few Dutch jockeys I know. Adrie de Vries stole the Group 1 Al Maktoum Round 3 Challenge, which is the key prep for the Dubai World Cup. So headed to the Dubai World Cup there for training Fawzi Nas. So I thought that kind of made my morning. But of course, if we look back at what happened yesterday, the Stronach 5 was very tough to hit, and 154,000. Let's make that 155,000 carry over in the pot there. I mean, couple of big odd winners started off at Laurel Park and then continued throughout the sequence. That was a tough one. Did you see some of those winners coming? Because I must admit, I struggled with it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a surprise, no doubt. It started off with a bang, literally, with Valued Notion winning here, banging off the rail past the 8th pole. A little anxious moment there for X-Man, but got it done. $20 winner to get you started, and it was just prices galore after that. So, yeah, we are going to be set next Friday for a big pot to go after. I mean, I got to think it's well over $500,000 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, we've seen this maybe a couple of times now that we got a big carryover, and then all of a sudden the Stronach 5 gathers a lot of attention nationwide, and the pot definitely increases. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll see it reach to $500,000 come this Friday. We'll definitely be grinding it out and trying to pick some winners for you for sure, and be talking a fair bit about it. And of course, hopefully we'll have at least one leg, maybe even two from Laurel Park to help you out with that one. And what is also coming up, aside from Friday, we have a big stakes day coming up on Saturday. Good Samaritan Stakes Day. 6 stakes races coming up, including the 3-year-old private term stakes over mile 116. I mean, we're looking at Hello Hot Rod, May the Horse Be With You, Shaq Queen King, all these possible horses lining up, all nominated to that race. And of course, the Beyond the Wire Stakes, 1 mile for the Phillies. I mean, among the nominations are, let's just say, Street Loot, who I'm very much looking forward to seeing back. So that will be an enticing day coming up again. And of course, today, as you hinted at, Beat the Expert.
Yes.
What have you got for us, Keith? Are we looking at long odds, or are we trying to be safe here and get the winners?
Well, it's a little, I mean, you put me in a little bit of a quandary, right? Because I like giving out some prices, especially on top. I don't have anything real super juicy price-wise. I've got a horse midway through the card that I like, but I think is going to be lower than what I've got the horse lined. I think I messed up there a little bit. Going to be lower than the 6-1 morning line that I have, but nothing huge. But I mean, a steady string. Nothing super chalky, I wouldn't think. But hopefully I can rattle off 4 or 5 winners for you. Yeah.
I hope so. I just
Yeah.
remember that, was it a month or so ago, you went 7 from 9 on top. So if you do anything like that, I doubt anyone will be able
Okay.
to best you on the day. So certainly good luck. But
All right.
let's kick this thing off. The track
Yeah.
conditions, we're looking at a fast track once again. Sun is out. Maybe not as warm as I would like to see it, but
Yeah.
it's starting to warm up going into spring.
Yeah, still a little chill in the air, and man, was it good to see some fans. They got out on the apron yesterday to enjoy the live racing. Once again, I mean, we wouldn't be here without you, right? If you're not gambling on the product, we have nothing. So, I mean, really, really good to see, the people that have come out, some familiar faces, some people I really miss seeing walking through the grandstand and saying hi to and conversing. We've got some good handicappers here. We've got some people that have their finger on the pulse, and I enjoy any kind of knowledge they can kind of give to me and their opinion. So, yeah, really good to see our people, in the dining areas over there, and with the pizza lady, Karen and Maria and all. They do a great job. They work so hard. So definitely take care of them. They've been up against it, as a lot of people have over the last year. So, yeah, we got to take care of everybody.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure to welcome spectators as well as some of our very much valued staff members once again here at Laurel Park. Really, it's fun now. I walk through the grandstand and I actually see all the TVs are on and there are actually people here, which to me is just absolutely wonderful, because it was it was quiet without you all. So thank you again for joining us and betting on our product. It's been fun, but let's get things going here, Keith. I hope that we pick some winners for you. Of course, the first race of the day, 6 furlong, is the start of the early pick 5, late pick 5 once again in the 5th race of the day here, as we do have 9 races carded. I created an early pick 4 here, but I kept it very sort of narrow. I got a single in there, but I must admit, bit of maybe I've gone too narrow. Like, when you think about it twice and you think, okay, I could have gone deeper. $24 to get you going. Yeah. The single that I'm going to talk you through there, might want to add there, because I thought to myself later on I could afford to go deeper. Don't need the single really. But race 1, I used the 1, the 2, and the 4, with the 2 more Trill being right there for Katie Voss. He's going to show a fair bit of speed. He's continued to run well, even against winners in his 2 starts at this level, and he's going to get a fast track again today. But my top selection in that spot is the number 4, Come and Get Me, for Damon Delodo Vico. Kind of broke awkwardly, ends up last of all, outpaced. I think that group was much too good, now dropping down to the claiming 16. Hopefully a better trip, close enough. He's not a horse that's going to make the lead, but just be within striking range would serve him much better on the day. Race 2 is my single. I ended up on the number 7, Luxero. We do have a scratch of Lucian on the inside as well, which I thought was quite key. Luxero drawn towards the outside. I'm hoping that he's either going to be closer to it here, because he can be close enough. He's shown in his past couple of starts, was a bit further away last time out, back marker last time, and it looked like he was kind of done, but he came back really strongly on the rail. We do have a video spotlight of that. Well, that to me was very visually impressive, and I feel like he's developed heaps and bounds in his last 2 starts, and that was 2 weeks ago. So continue the progression now. The claiming 16 level after winning at claiming 25. So clearly a horse that's taking a bit of class relief as well. So hence I singled on him there. But if you want to go deeper, by all means, I included the number 3, Twinny City, underneath as well for John Maldonado. Lost my vouchers, and a really interesting horse for Claudio Gonzalez, because if he does go and try, he can be very sharp in this spot, but he's had some trouble loading and he doesn't always get away as sharply. As we move on to the 3rd race, I use the 1, the 3, the 4, and 6. I spread in there, and then in race 4, I used the 4 and the 5 in that spot. We're going a mile 16 there. Really like Golden Warrior, stepping it up to a higher level for Anthony Ferrier after a really strong 3rd last time out. First off the claim there, and then number 5, Bananas on Fire. Claudio Gonzalez, fast turnaround here, but of course Claudio had a triple yesterday, so he's firing out the winners here, and I want to be on board when it happens. We had a scratch or triple Tito's in that race, which meant I can go too deep, and then in race 5, I used the 5 and the 9. The 9 was kind of my price play on the outside there. Tricky Spirit stepping it up big time for Timothy Keith, coming from that maiden 10 level, going to the maiden 40, and you think he'd be completely out of it, but I didn't think that was the case really. If you look at his figures of some of the horses in there, 10-1 morning line, wouldn't mind getting that. Not sure we will. There is a scratch in Love My Cat, but it'd be nice to get some value.
I think you will.
$24. I'm hoping to give you some base to build on today as we kick things off here with the first race. 6 furlongs the distance, claiming 16 the level, non-winners at 2 lifetime. And Keith, we'll start with your top selection in this spot, who I have in second, the number 2, More Trill. I think he's going to show a fair bit of speed here. Comes in here for Katie Voss. This is going to be his second start with her. And as I said before, I feel like this is a gelding that has continued his progression ever since he started running against winners 2 starts back. He ended up being very wide, covering a lot of ground last time out.
Yeah, he's back finally on a fast track. He's fine either way, fast or an off track. It seems like he handles it. I mean, you look at the race, Naomi, you're like, who ends up on the lead in here? And I just, I'm
Good
back
question.
and forth.
Yep.
I spent way too much time on this race, and I said, you know what? I really don't love anybody, but I think More Twirl, Charlie, just be aggressive from the inside, hung wide into the flow last time. I don't think he's going to have to be 22 in it out there to steal away. I think he can be comfortable. He'll bring some finish at 6 furlongs. I think he's going to be okay. Major threat from the 1, commanding general second off of a claim for fair out of that same race, the Garrison's Charge race. He just kind of ran even when caught wide. Second off a claim, you go back the last couple of years, been very good for Farrier, 27%. But the last 3 months, he's 0 for 19 with this move. So, what do you kind of make of that? This horse just needs to kind of hold form. 7+7. I like the way he finished last time. Is he going to get the right kind of setup? But he's got the extra ground. He actually was going best in that Commissioner Big race on the 30th. He actually galloped out a couple clear. So 2-1-6-4 for me to get you started. I agree. Damon's horse has a shot. Kind of good, bad race, good race, bad race, but it was definitely the speeds carried last time, and you said he got off a little rough, so he wouldn't be a surprise either. But I couldn't split the 4, to be honest with you.
To me, like this race, as you mentioned, either there's going to be a pace because nobody wants to go forward, and all of a sudden everyone's going to go. So I was like, the 1, the 2, the 5 have a little bit of early speed, never really shown that they wanted to go to the lead, but maybe today, because there's a chance, all of a sudden everyone wants to go, and I thought that would work well for Damon de Ludovico's horse. So either that's going to happen, or what you think the number 2, More Twirl, is going to absolutely bounce on the front, and nobody's going to go and try to go with him. So I was a little bit on the fence with this race as well, and I took a shot with the 4, Come and Get Me, if there is a pace developing here, which we'll see. We'll find out.
Would not be a surprise. And you're right. You hit the nail on the head. You get all the trainers, all the owners are looking at the form. They're saying the same thing we're saying. We're like, oh, well, let's just go. Maybe there's a chance we can kind of get out there. I know the horse really has never done that. And then horses try to do something they're not really accustomed to. And, it just kind of takes them out of their game. And if that first quarter, you see a couple go, you're right. Damon's going to be tough. And then that leaves it for 7+7 as well to come rallying.
Yeah, so
I'm glad we confused you enough. Let's go to the second. Let's go to the second.
I mean, we both always look at pace setup, so it's a tricky one if you can't really put your finger on it. But yeah, let's kick on with the second race, going 2 turns, mile and 16, claiming 16,000 here. And the number 7, Luxero, is the horse that we both have on top, and I'm kind of tentatively used him as my single on my early pick 5 ticket, drawn towards the outside. We do have a video of that last race that I mentioned, where he was the back marker all the way, kind of cruising up on the rail before having to get taken back, which is, I do believe, what we're about to see.
Yeah, Naomi, and we talked about the inside ad nauseum. The inside post at a mile, very rarely do they come out well. They come away a little bit slowly. They have to make their way up into traffic sometimes. You see that right there, where Luxero had some run, had to kind of steady off the heels. But I tell you what, Bananas on Fire shakes clearing. Bananas on Fire is a horse that's, favored? I got a lukewarm favorite in the 4th for 40.
Yeah.
Here's Luxero, who beats him for 25s in for 16. Dives down to the inside. It just keeps grinding to get up. Beats his stablemate this day. Bananas on Fire in a new home now for Claudio. But what an effort. And like you said, going 2 turns, he's got speed. He's going to break cleaner from the outside. You're wondering why the drop? Well, you see the percentages. Corrales wins. He wins when they start winning. They win in a row. A good ROI. You've got a horse here by basically a nondescript stallion. You can hit a home run here financially with a win and a loss through the claim box. I mean, I'm thinking that's kind of the way they're going to play it. I got to think he finds a new home.
Yeah, no, I like that angle there, because I was going, this horse just won at the claiming 25 level. Why are we going down?
Yeah.
Well, because it was a beautiful win for him last time out at that level to then go down and indeed possibly move on and get some return on your investment there. So I agree. Coming from that maiden 10 level win to go and do that, certainly you're hopefully counting your winnings there. You used a 4 underneath as well. Lost my voucher. Like I said, Claudio Gonzalez was now dropping in class, and this is that's just had some trouble loading. It's been fractious. They have to open the gate for him. If he gets away well, he's can certainly step up here. I mean, look at that 60 buyer figure 2 starts back. But then last time out, as I mentioned, perhaps just gets himself a little bit worked up.
Yeah, I think he's I should have probably put him on top, but I mean, he looks like that horse. If he brings his race that he did 2 races back, he's going to win it. He's going to be able to go out and control this field. I don't think Twitty City's as fast as him early. Right, what's his behavior going to be like before the gate? Well, we saw Claudio with 3 winners yesterday. It looks like one of these 2. Would not surprise me if Lost My Voucher gets out. If he breaks clean and clears, he can control it. But Luxero has enough speed, I think. You look at that 5.5 maiden race, maiden 10. He was right up on the engine. So I think he's out in the free and clear. He can kind of go up and just kind of track. Maybe these 2 run as a team around the racetrack.
Yeah, it'd be very intriguing to see how that works out. I used the 3 underneath just because Twitty City, to me, when he gets to a level that corresponds with his ability, can put in a decent sort of 50 mid-50s race. But we've just kind of seen his form maybe dirtied up a little bit with those higher class races that he just couldn't go with. And you see that, throws in the towel there late because it's completely outclassed. So hopefully a better, more competitive spot for him. Race number 3, Phillies claiming 16,000. Norman is a 3 lifetime, 7 furlongs, the specialist distance here. You go towards the rail, use the number 1, Tequila Fog. Last time out at this level, perhaps a touch disappointing. She broke well. She took the rail and she looked like she was about to go and make a move and then kind of faded out late.
Yeah, just a little fizzle there, right. But I think we talked about the 12th of February. Not good on the inside. Maybe that had something to do with it. 7/8 of a mile. I think she's all right at this distance. And looking at the field, not a slew of speed, and she doesn't necessarily need to have it. I think get out, maybe if you feel the inside's a little off, maybe just get out a path or 2, maybe. But I think moving back to a track that maybe be able to play a little bit more fair in her favor, I think she's going to be okay in here. Catch the Sky, second off the claim as well out of that same race. Looks like a horse, I think, perfect the way it ran last time for this 7 furlong distance. Enough speed to stay close in here as well and maybe grind it out. Might bring a little bit better finish than the 1, but 1 once again offers a little bit more value.
Yeah, and I agree. I like your take on going with the value horse. I ended up with Catch the Sky on top because to me, she sets the standard here. She holds that claiming 16 level, especially after that last race, where she just eye-catchingly put in multiple lengths between her and the field when chasing a runaway winner in Stay Out that day. So comfortably put away the rest of them when you had a Stay Out absolutely trucking up front. But Catch the Sky, as you mentioned, second in the Hugh McMahon stable. And we have seen them improve with their starts. Especially, I've said this before, he trains them just a little bit differently. And sometimes that really works for a horse to bring out their better potential, true potential here. And then the number 4, Ortonola. She returns to Laurel and she cuts back in distance. And I think that possibly could set her up quite nicely.
Nothing wrong with her tries.
Exactly,
she has just been a check getter. I guess you say, who's going to hit the board? Who's going to be 1 through 3? You probably say Ortonola because she can just settle and she's going to make the progression into a shortening up here from the 3 turns at Charlestown back to the 1 turn 7/8. But she keys up against the right kind. Tweet Away Robin, multiple winner Dave Boards. Horse was hot for Kieran. Yeah, so she's fine. She's going to rally into it.
Yeah, I use a bit of an interesting horse in number 6, Cairo Queen underneath. I think this is quite the confidence move, stepping her up to this level. Yeah. Only 8 days after she hopped up in the air, missed the start completely, probably like 3 lengths away from the field, and just wasn't her race. It didn't go to suit that day. Second start in the barn, and as I mentioned, a quick turnaround, making me think, okay, they've got higher hopes for her, or a little bit of a protection move, but I wanted to be on the gravy train, as they say, if that was going to be the case here, and Cairo Queen was going to jump up and do something. Race 4, mile and 16 here for the 3-year-olds, claiming 40 to 32. 3,000. And this is the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. We have a carryover of $6,949. So nice bit of prize money already there for you to hopefully take advantage of. And I dare say we could find some value here on the day. It's a good sequence. I think it's not the easiest of sequence, but a good sequence nonetheless. But of course, race 4 also starts the middle pick 4. And Keith, you created a ticket for us today here, looking for some value.
A little bit. I'm trying. I mean, I think we've got some here. Middle pick 4, 2 deep to get you started. The 1 Omadi and the 5 Bananas on Fire. Key scratch of the 7 Triple T. There's also take out part of the entry, the 1A Wicked Finn with 3 deep here in the 5th. This is the horse I think I've got a bad line on. The 5 Self Assured. If I had to go back 3, 7 to 2 in that range. You've got the factor of Russell with a first or with Brittany, so you're expecting that horse to take plenty of play to the 7 Memphis Mafia. So I go 3 deep in there. 2, 5, 7, 3 deep in the 6 with the 1, 4, and 5. Wrap it up with the 1, 4, and 8. Money Ride, the Poser, Confessor, shorter prices, but not no slam dunk. I don't think there's any 7 to 5 in that group, and it is a very competitive 2 other than going a mile. There's a bunch of horses that could win that one.
Yeah.
If you're going to spread, I think that's the race you kind of really go at it and spread is race 7.
Yeah, I agree. There's a strong field coming up in that spot. And actually, I think race 6 even is quite open as well. So I have to agree with your sort of spread strategy in that. Race number 4, of course, we did have a scratch of the number 7 Triple Tito's. I say both of us would have had him quite high up in our selections. I did for sure. I ended up landing on the number 5 Bananas on Fire, here for Claudio Gonzalez. First off the claim, fast turnaround. And of course, as I mentioned, Claudio had a triple yesterday. This is quite fast for Claudio, making me think that clearly Bananas on Fire must be kind of jumping out of his skin, or they just found a good spot for him to come back here. I do know that you have a stat on him as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Claudio right back, he's good off the claim anyhow. But how about this? I mean, he doesn't do this a lot. But the last years when he wheels them back within 10 to 14 days, 4 for 8, 50% with an ROI of just over $3. Bananas on Fire gets in light, right? With Geraldo was making strides as a rider, looking better. As we're watching these riders closely, if they're calling the charts, he's definitely getting better with experience. So trying to take that edge, and I think he's just going to draft into a very good trip. With Triple Tito's out, maybe he gets into a stalking trip, possibly, when you really kind of break it all down and looking at his internal fractions and how he kind of rates close. But he's definitely improved with the Lasix. Yeah, he's going to make a move right into it. He's going to have a target in the 1 Omadi. This is my top selection. Lasix back on Omadi. Was not on the PPs, but this horse has freshened up since late November and ran against some of the better 2-year-olds that we had around at that period. Little trouble last time. I think showed a lot of heart after battling in between horses a long way last time out. I think he's going to be poised to the inside. I like the works coming into it. The Lasix going back on. I think he can control it. If not, he's going to make you work for it. There's no doubt. This horse has got some fight in him. I like this move right back down to the 40. They mean business here today with Omadi.
Yeah, no, I have a Omadi underneath as well. As you mentioned, now a 3-year-old by virtue of development, you think that he would be continuing to improve there. And as you mentioned, has been running against some tougher competition there. And I remember that last race he ran in, that was quite an eventful race in the stretch with a fair few of the 2-year-olds kind of coming in on each other and all over the place. And Omadi perhaps got a little bit of bad positioning because of that, but I don't think he would have toppled any of the winners on that day. So he was already kind of going backwards. But yeah, very intrigued to see how they're going to place him, because as you mentioned, I think they're going to be aggressive and move forward from that low draw. So used him as well. My only worry is I do like the works, but they're fairly spaced out. There's sort of like a couple of weeks every time in between instead of, what you see every week. Perhaps that's just Dale Bennett, but I like seeing that sort of every week sharp kind of work. That might be my only drawback here. I use the 4 Golden Warrior first of the claim for Anthony Ferrier there. I think he's going to like that 2 turns. I think they're going to that means that they're going to slow down a little bit in front. He's going to be a touch bit closer. I think he can stay very well as he showed last time out. I think this kind of suits him in terms of his progression and how he's doing. And of course, they move him up to the 40 level as well. So a bit of a confidence there. As we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with the 5th race.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Laurel Park. Naomi Tucker, Keith Fussel trying to pick you some winners for this beautiful Saturday here at the track. Race number 5, Phillies Maiden claiming 40,000 for 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. I don't think we've had too many of those sort of quite open, quite open races. I think both of us kind of give the nod to the 3-year-olds coming in, the less exposed, get the 818 pounds they carry. The older ladies will have to carry the 126. I think both of us kind of trying to find a bit of a price. I think this is a race that you can go and make a case for a couple of these price horses here. The number 5 is your top selection. It's Self-Assured, 6-1 morning line. Fergal Lynch aboard here. In the early cut it said Victor was going to get back on, so I was like, all right, Victor has ridden her before, but now it's Fergal getting on here. I like the kind of protection move here. She's not in for the tag, has been away from the track for a good while, but that debut race was quite sharp. She actually was a little bit green there, broke outwards, but continued to try, and look at that work going into this.
Yeah, I think she's going to be good to go. We saw, yesterday, Valued Notion, kind of a similar strategy here, right, with Rodney. A couple races, just so-so efforts. They came back off of that freshening. It was a different kind of horse. I think we're going to see it with this one. Once again, 6-1 line, no. I think we'll take 3-7-2 if we can get it. Showed good speed in a big field, battled and made a move into it. A little fade, Margie's Heaven, ended up being a double key race. Some horses have come out of there and done well. Naomi, I think, her speed edge of what she's brought to the table, unproven from these other ones. They really haven't shown it. I think fresh, she's going to be ready to go here for Rodney's been doing well. He was in a little bit of a lull. He's hitting quite well right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently at 23%, and as you mentioned, the winner yesterday as well. And I used the number 9, drawn towards the outside. This filly stepping up here for Timothy Keith. And you think on face value, you're looking at 39 buyer, first start, maiden 10, going up to that maiden 40. You're thinking, what are they doing, right? Why would you? But then you look at this field. To me, it makes sense. She's not in for the tag. They're protecting her. This is going to be her first time Lasix as well. She was very strong early. She was right up there with the pace before kind of struggling to go with them. Allowed to take a breath. I thought that was a really good call there by Angel Cruz, kind of, saying, okay, lady, we'll take a breath. Navigates her to the outside, and she turned on the propellers late. She got into the clear, and she really started running. Now, couldn't get to Golden Moonshine, but to me, professional, encouraging debut. She's unexposed. Like I said, jumps in class, but the figure puts her in here. So I'm trying to, that was 10-1 on the morning line. I'm thinking, this is it. We're going to try.
I still think she's going to be okay price. We have video, right?
We do actually, of her last race as well. You can just see her there starting to make a move.
Yeah, and he puts her in a position for a first, or it's, you can tell it looks like she was well schooled. My biggest concern is, man, they must have been worried. They laid her in here for 10, and she showed this kind of ability, right?
Yeah.
She's kind of able to handle traffic. You talked about Cruz letting her catch herself a little bit around the turn. Let's go back into her a little bit, swing out to about the 5 path, and she straightens away and runs quite well. You see Golden Moonshine able to control things up there on the front end, but a good leveling out the last 3/16 of a mile. Next out winner, stop talking, third, right, came back to win. You want to talk about a protect move. This is a serious protect move. She's a Maryland bred. They're not even going to, we're not even 40. We're going to take the waiver here. So, Tricky Spirits, I think is going to be worth a definite look. And you talk about it. You made a great point looking at the rest of the field. It almost looks like a step sideways when you're looking at class, right? You see at 40. She was in for 10. Look at the rest of these horses, how their figures stack up. And even a horse like Fancy Princess, just above her against Darling's Cure. Well, she was running for 16, and she made her way up the ladder with similar figures. So why not give Tricky Spirits a real good look here in the 5th race?
Yeah, and then you use the number 2, Heartful, underneath as well. First time for trainer Gray Motion.
Yeah, I think, interesting the move to Graham. I mean, Rodney's doing well. I don't know what was going on with that. But you talk about a 3-year-old. I like these horses. He hasn't had a ton of experience. But you go back, to her debut race. There's your horse Street Loop. She's 5 lengths behind her. She's close. We're getting Lasix. We're getting a little bit more experienced rider.
Made her debut in a stakes race.
Yeah. So there you go. So they thought a little bit about her. It's a good family down the line. I remember that family. So yeah, Heartful. I like. I think she's going to be good to go here. I'm not worried about that 33 Buyer last. It doesn't scare me. I think she's going to definitely make an impact here. We got to talk about the firster, right? Memphis Mafia. What do you have on her?
Oh, El Padrino quite sharp with his youngsters debut, 18%, but older perhaps tapers off a little bit, 12%.
Okay.
But then Dam took a while to break her maiden, but her half-brother AP Elvis won on her third start place both times before.
Yep.
Half-sister Kickstart My Heart, 8-start maiden now. So mixed value here when it comes to her pedigree, I think. What is your take?
Yeah, I mean, El Padrino's okay early to me. Half the AP Elvis. I love that. He was a cool horse. Speed on the turf. So this horse might go ahead and do okay on the grass. Willing to put this horse in for 40. Yeah, I think there's some angles. And both Civs, they did hit the board. I think they both ran second in debut. And I think El Padrino was a little bit more precocious when you talk about sires, going to get horses to win earlier than what the other. I think one was by Dance with the Ravens and Jumpstart. So, yeah, El Padrino maybe a little bit more edge or a lean towards an early win.
Yeah, I saw that turf angle there with her half-brother, who was a very good turf sprinter.
Yes,
so clearly
yes,
there,
he was.
you think there might be some speed in the family as well. But out and out, that dirt sprinting angle, perhaps just the El Padrino factor there.
Okay.
But to me, I was trying to get away from a first that most likely is going to take most of the money here. Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell, they've proven that they're very capable of preparing these youngsters. I was going to say 4-year-old at this spot, so maybe not that young, but first time starters to have a positive experience and to not be phased by anything they might encounter on the track. As we'll move on to the 6th race of the day, 5.5 furlongs dash. Phillies claiming a 5,000. Let's start with the filly that we have a video spotlight on. That's the lady jumping on the rail, Shirley Sheldon Russell takes the ride here for trainer Michael Gorham, and you can see that she really has to sit and wait.
Yeah. And if it ain't broke, right, don't fix it. She likes the open $5,000 level. And her last 2 tries, a step in the right direction from a buyer figure, and she was rating a little bit better, really relaxing to the point. Behind horse, she's kind of a bigger mare, and she finds her way, finds a path, and is able to get it done. But I like how she handled the trouble and gets out. You see a little – maybe the left front action. She's a little bit of a.
She's interesting the way she moves.
yeah. She's moving a little bit, but that's why you kind of keep her at this level, keep her where she's confident. Mike Gorham, we talked about. We had I think maybe a stat the other day. Nickel to 8,000 claims. He's like 35-40% first off the claim in the last couple of years. A lot of those at Delaware. But she fits here. She can handle the distance. Tactfully placed. She's going to have to target, I think, a horse like Trap Me Later, Our True Sunshine, and Sussex. So she's going to get flow. And she's shown the ability to handle that and rate just off of it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple that are going to move forward. When we were talking about the earlier race today with no speed, there's quite the abundance of speed in this event for sure. I used the number 4 on top in here, which is Joyful Noise. Like I said, I think there's so much speed that a closing mare like her could fit here if she comes with her best late effort.
Absolutely. We saw Grant Whitaker give a very good ride on the Saray horse yesterday. He was down inside and worked outward.
Both blanking now.
Yep.
Caught me on the spot there.
I'm going to tell you, I've got it written down here. You ready? 5-card draw. There you
That's
go.
it.
5-card draw.
Yeah,
Louisiana
who has
bred.
a half-brother who ran 3rd in the General George, I think.
There you go.
As well. That's like my random stat.
There you go. But no, so a similar kind of situation. So speed all to the inside. No reason why he should be caught wide around the turn, right? Be able to sit there, stay covered up, and she likes to bring that finish. She's a good in-the-money prospect as well in here, and she always holds value. She never really gets bet that hard. Suskin, I give her a slight edge. Shirley beat her a couple races back, but she's got recency. She's got that turn of foot that puts her into it, and she can handle a little battle up front. So just the break in between the time for Swirly Shirley, I give a slight edge to Suskin, but 1, 2, 4, 5 for me. The 2 ran big. I like the way the 2 ran up at Parks against a big field, but I want to see it one more time here against this group at Laurel.
Well, I like Carol Cedino taking the ride as well. She'll put her right in there from that low draw in this spot, because I feel like with the 5.5, you got to get out there and go for it, because there's no time to lose really, and you're going to just try and take the race by the horns, which a fair them will do. So definitely your top selection, being able to comfortably have that pressure inside outside and still continue, is definitely something that she'll need here on the day. Race number 7, nice second level optional claiming event, going the 1 turn mile. And I ended up landing on the number 3, but let's go to your top selection first here. Towards the outside is the number 8, Confessor, who I use as well. Definitely the one with the gaudy figures in terms of recency as well. And here coming from Parks on that muddy mile in 16, where he only just got beaten by a length. But this is just an ultra consistent horse if you look at what he's been doing over the last couple of weeks.
And that's kind of what put me over the top with him, proven at the distance, at the condition. Obviously, he's been in for the tag. Nobody's taking it. He just keeps running well. So that's good enough for me. Position-wise, I see him maybe not as close as he was at Parks. I don't know. I mean, there's some horses in here with some early speed. The Poser, youngest of 5, and even the Rail horse. But consistency got me over the top with Confessor. That was it.
Yeah, I use Confessor underneath as well, because I like that form coming into this. I was trying to find maybe a little bit of value here. Use the youngest of 5, 6-1 morning line. Hugh McMahon ran behind a strong Macklemore Avenue 2 starts back, who of course then was second at second allowance level next time out, and he was behind Plot the Dots, Oxide. I mean, he's ran against the right kind to say that perhaps in this spot he can go and get it done again. Has a flexible running style as well. Comes on the back of a win here. A slight little break of 2 months coming into this. I don't mind that with the Hugh McMahon runners. I think he spaces them out well to kind of keep them happy and fresh going into things. And then that 4th of February work, 48-2, makes me think that they're really sort of tuning him back up.
Yeah, and then they get you the stamina build up, the mile.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's kind of a typical move for Hugh McMahon. So you're right, that kind of like saying, I'm not worried about that little break and going here for the 1 turn mile. But yeah, I mean, you look at horses like youngest of 5, the Poser, they've kind of, faced each other. Their figures are basically the same. Their running styles are similar. Prince James, he's another one. Big to Macklemore Avenue, right? Macklemore Avenue did get beat a length, came back to win off of that. And then you've got Money Ride, kind of the stranger coming in here, the new face. He scares me. This trainer brought in 1 horse, got the job done. He's run improved figures for this trainer. 2 excuses. In the 2 bad races out of the 5, you really can't even call them bad. Had major excuses. Pinch back, 3 races back. A stumble last time. That was a wicked field, wicked trick. 2 back. The second place finisher came back to run at 87. He was a horse that ran big in some stakes races. You're thinking maybe the mile, but he looks like that kind of horse. If they can cut out like a 24, 47 and change, he's just going to stay around and grind you to death, this Money Ride. So highly competitive 7th. It's a spread race for me, as you saw.
I do think we had a video on the 4 as well that you picked out of the Poser last time out, going taking them all the way whilst receiving pressure.
Let me see. What race did we do here? We did the 29th, Naomi. And this was a deal where I think last time, was it last? Yeah, this is
it's the 29th indeed. I got that noted down wrong. I was talking about the last race he was in, but still the 29th, 7 furlong allowance here.
Yes. I just wanted to show his ability to kind of maybe sit just off of it and make a move and stay. And this was an okay group, right? Oxide, who's come back to run well, and the 2 other didn't run great the other day. He got a pretty easy go of it last time, but, man, if he pairs up that number against a horse like Girls Love Me, he's another player. He's another one. That flow, that first half is going to be critical for his staying power in here. If you're looking for that maybe price horse, if things get a little heated and we're turning for home, we see 3 or 4 of them kind of ramping up and battling, and they cut out a good second, third quarter. Rough Sea is going to be that one that maybe springs it over the top for me.
Yeah, no, definitely 7, very much a spread race. Race number 8, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have started for a claiming price of 12.5 in their last 3 starts, or claiming 16 to 12.5, going the 1 turn mile. Both of us land on the same horse here. I think this is only the second time in all the races that we've landed on the same horse, and you tell how competitive it is. Divine Interventio. I think he's going to do very well for the Jerry Robb stable. First off the claim, of course, a stable that's just been doing absolutely perfectly. Quick, week turnaround from that last race, which we also have a video of.
Yeah, we can take a look at this. And you know, the turnaround doesn't concern me as much as another one. Maybe they just want to strike. You know, they get the claim, they raise up to 6. Hey, maybe somebody will take it again and will win because he's in such sharp form. And this is a field where he should be ultra tough. He really didn't run much either. He ran the last 3/16 of a mile. He measured the speed without much asking and finishes up quite well over to the left lead late there. He's an old pro, Divine Intervention. You got to love him. My man, Pots and Pans, that last race was a really good wake up. I mean, it was a big improvement. He's run back into form and back into shape here for Rubley. Protect. He's kind of my main upset shot here. And that visually was really good last time. And not the greatest of feels, but just the way he did it. He's a different kind of horse right now, it looks like.
It seems like he's cycling back into form after just a couple of sort of head scratching efforts a couple of times that both of us were like, he used to be better, but now starting to come back again. Looked phenomenal in the paddock last time out as well, because I remember that day where he was big price, about 7-1 on the day, and my man Pots and Pets, Calais Ruby, kind of got this veteran going again. What are we doing in the last race, Keith?
Okay.
Maiden 47 furlongs. You landed on the number 2, Portal 1. Seems to be the gelding to beat.
Yeah, I'm chalking it up. Captain Crayola in the last, right? I thought he ran real big last time. He ran hard all the way around the racetrack. That Johnny Sack that came in from New York for Engelhard, he's a good horse. He got a lot of trouble. I wish I could have shown that rerun. Johnny Sack is going to be. I think he's a winner next out. But Portal 1, he's quick. He can stay. He's second Lasix. Second time gelding, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have second start as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to separate around the turn. And then I don't think they're going to come get him. We'll see. Shorter price here. I like the improvement Foles Notion has got, and I like Sheldon on that one to bring a finish.
Yeah, and I use the number 6 Iron Pulse on these as well. 3-year-old debut, first time Lasix going on. Hopefully, just something more to bring. But I go with the chalky number 2 Porter 1, who stands head and shoulders above the field in this nightcap race 9 at Laurel Park. That's going to do it for us this morning, Keith. I wish you best of luck with Beat the Expert today, and of course Dave Rotman will come in just after us with all the scratches and changes.
I'm sure I'll be hanging my head in shame tomorrow when I get back on this show.
Won't be the case.
All right. Good luck, everybody.